Hello and welcome. My name is Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind The Country Chic Cottage. Today we're going to talk about how to do rhinestones on a Cricut machine. So we're going to make rhinestone templates right in Cricut Design Space for a simple project. Now I'm just going to do a simple project today, one color design. If you want to do more colorful designs and more advanced techniques, I recommend The Baby's Booty on YouTube. I'm going to link her YouTube channel below. She's like the rhinestone expert. So if you want to get more advanced after you watch this tutorial, then by all means head there. Now we are going to talk about how to make templates in your Cricut machine, but we're also going to talk about how to order custom rhinestone designs. So if you get into this and you're like, this is way too complicated, hang on to the end because I have a way for you to order your own custom rhinestone designs from Heat Transfer Warehouse. So you can still do rhinestones even if the Cricut method is way too complicated for you. So first of all, let's take a look at the supplies we're going to use. So the supplies you're going to need are as follows. So you're going to need the material you actually cut your stencil out of for rhinestones. And I am going to link to everything below because this is a very specific material. And then you'll need the rhinestones themselves. I'm going to use a SS10 and we'll talk about what those sizes mean. To make the process easier, they make a tray as well as like a brush and like this pad to help you get the rhinestones in location. And then you'll need a heat transfer mask, strong grip transfer tape, if you want to use one of the hacks that I'm going to show. A brayer comes in really handy. You might need a weeding tool as well as a scraper tool. And then I'm going to put the rhinestones actually on a stocking, so I have my Christmas stocking here. So let's take a look at finding rhinestone designs. The first thing you will need is a design of some type. So let's talk about a couple of different ways to get those. The first is to find rhinestone designs. So for example, in Creative Fabrica, I just searched for rhinestones and I got a ton of designs. So when you find designs online, you do need to look for a few things. So this is one of the designs pulled up on Creative Fabrica. So I need to look at whether or not it tells me what stone size to use, because that will be important. And I need to know what size the image should be once I import it into Design Space. So in this case, this tells me both of those things, so it would be a good file to use. Now what if you wanted to create your own lettering, words, whatever? There are also rhinestone fonts. So this is font bundles, and again I just searched rhinestone and you can see tons of different font options. And as you can see, I already purchased this bold option here and we are going to use that today to make a project. What these fonts do for you is they make all those little bitty circles that you're going to need to place your stones in. Now let's head to Cricut Design Space and see how to use a font like this. So now I have a word typed up in Design Space, and again I picked that font that I downloaded. So in this case it's called RS04AW Modern. And now I need to make sure this is the right size. So the stones need to fit in the holes. So I have this brief guide. These are the dimensions that I have found work pretty well. You might find a little larger or a little smaller work well for the stones you purchase. So for this project, I'm going to use a SS10 stone. So the holes should be about 0.127. So what I like to do is make a shape, pick circle, make this 0.127, then make the font to fit. So you may have to zoom in. I like to take the circle and make it a different color, then resize your design to where one of the circles is the same size as that yellow circle we just drew. So we can zoom in a little bit, place this name over this circle, and we're getting very close. We might need to increase the size just a little more. And when I think I'm getting close, so I think that the circles are about the same size, I like to go ahead and double check that. So one way to do that is to slice one of these circles out. So let's go ahead and zoom out once again. We'll take this name and duplicate it so that we have an extra copy to slice a piece out. Then we'll take and make another circle, and I'm going to put it on the corner of one of these letters and try to get just one of these dots sliced out of the name. So I just move this over one of the dots, pick the name and the circle I've just drawn, and click slice. Now I need to delete everything off except for this circle. And it's actually 0.123. And remember, I wanted it to be 0.127. So this name needs to be even a little bit larger. So I would just continue like this until I got the name the right size. So now I've resized this until my circles are the correct size. Now I will want to see if this is too large for my surface. So I can't really make this any smaller unless I used smaller stones. So if I used an SS6 stone, I could make the whole thing smaller. So to do this, I'm actually just going to do combine and unite, which is like weld but not permanent. And now I can see it's 10.2 by 2.3. So it's a little larger than the surface I have on my stocking, but I actually just want an initial on the stocking anyway. This was just for illustration, so it's fine. So I would probably go ahead and delete off that. And now I have my initial. Now I could copy this, paste it, and change it to my next initial. And continue that for as many stockings as I have. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these sizes off. And now I can click Make It. I'm actually going to cut this on a mat. And you can see it lays out everything perfectly. Now I do like a little space around my designs when working with rhinestones. So I'm just going to kind of move these out a little bit and down and apart from one another. And then I could click continue and go ahead and cut these designs. I find this material cuts well on a light grip mat. So you'll have like a flocked side and then a liner side. And the liner goes down on the mat. And you do want to press it down really well on the mat. And that's where something like a brayer comes in handy, just to make sure it's down well. So I do have my fine point blade installed, and your star wheels can be anywhere on the roller. Then we'll just press go to cut. After it's done cutting, just remove the mat and we'll take a look at these cuts and how to use this material. So here are a few examples of what not to do. So this version is not cut all the way through in most places. So if I peel this back, most of the circles just stay in the flocked, and they are just nearly impossible to push out. This one I cut on a glitter HTV setting and did 2 passes. Did not work. So then I went to the other extreme and I actually did a bonded felt setting, and when I cut it, it cut all the way through the material as well as the backing, leaves a mess on your mat. All this backing is on there. And then with the backing removed, the little circles, even though they're cut through, they don't come out very well. So again, kind of a mess if you cut all the way through. So this was cut on the flocked paper setting with less pressure. So if I peel this back, it's just barely going through the backing, but I can definitely get it off the mat. So now let's take a look at a hack for getting all these little pieces out of the flocked material. I have a piece of strong grip transfer tape, and I'm just gonna lay it over this flocking and just burnish this down really well and try to pull as many of these little circles up as I can. This is just an easy way to try to get those out of there without weeding tools or anything like that. So now we can peel this back, and as you can see, several of those are coming along with it. So it'll make your job much easier and kind of cuts down on the mess to me. So I just sort of peel these back, and I find, like, for me, if I just tried to pull the flocking back from the backing paper, I'm going to do that over here. The circles are staying within the flocked. However, this trick gets a lot of those circles out, and then I can just kind of pick the rest out with a weeding hook. So I just have, I don't know, maybe 10 on this version, and then I'll just repeat for the A. So there we have almost the entire thing weeded out. And for the rest of these, you can pick them up with a weeding tool, whatever, but you just want to remove them from the flocking material. And then once I have all of these circles out and out of the way, we'll take a look at how to add the rhinestones and actually transfer the stones to your surface. So here are those pieces, cut, weeded, everything. We're ready to apply them. They are slightly sticky and they are reusable. So we can make several rhinestone transfers from this piece. So I'm just going to peel the backing away and then stick it to the felt on this mat. So this is a special tray. The material is special, of course. Then we have some special tools to kind of help get our rhinestones into place. So we're just going to press that down. And this is the reason that the size of these holes was so important. It is because we're going to kind of dump our rhinestones in the tray and brush them onto the design. And if the holes were not the right size, the rhinestones would not fit. At this point, you can use whatever rhinestones you would like as long as they're sized correctly. So, you know, I used the SS10 So I want to use the SS10 stones on my tray here. We're just going to kind of scatter several out. And then you can just slightly brush this across. And they should start landing into place right side up, frankly. So we're just going to keep brushing these across. The brush might be what you prefer. There is also sort of a pad here, and I could try it. It's just going to depend on what you prefer for laying these out. I kind of prefer the brush, but if you liked the pad, you could definitely use it to sort of brush them across. So I'm going to go ahead and brush as many into place as I can. Will you have to manually place some? The answer is probably yes. So you're probably not going to be able to get all of them perfect and into place. So you might have to manually set some stones with some tweezers. But I'm going to get as many as I can sort of into place with my brush first. Then I'm just using tweezers to get everything into place. So if you see any upside down stones, flip them over. You see any excess stones, just push them over to the side. Fill in any areas that you might have missed with the brush. And just make sure everything looks really great before the next step. So this is why it's so important for the holes to be exactly the right size, so that you don't have any trouble getting your stones to sit within the holes so they're perfectly lined up and look great for your design. So I'm just going to keep filling these in, and then I just kind of use this brush again and move everything out of the way that I don't want. We can save those and use those again. We'll just put those back in the bag after we finish up our designs. So I'm just going to finish up this A, and then we can start transferring these to our Christmas stocking. Now we'll just take a piece of heat transfer mask and put it over the design. And then we'll just use a scraper, lightly go over all those stones, making sure you kind of touch every single one of those. And then peel it back and just watch and make sure your stones stay on the mask. If they don't, just press down again. And you should get all of your stones on the mask in the right location for your design and ready to be transferred to whatever surface you desire. So there are my stones on heat transfer mask. For application, I'm going to go ahead and use my Cricut Easy Press. You can use a heat press. It's 355 degrees for 15 seconds, peel warm, medium pressure. Now you want to put this on 100% polyester, cotton, or any poly cotton blend. So I'm using some like linen Christmas stockings, and I'm just going to pre-press just because they're really wrinkled from being in like a package. And I'm already up to 310 on my heat press here. So now that everything is pre-pressed, kind of got the wrinkles out, then you just want to locate your design. So I'm going to do one of my designs here. And so the back of the rhinestones have a heat activated adhesive similar to HTV. So we're just going to flip this over gently. You don't want to lose any of those rhinestones, and then you could locate it wherever you wanted to. I'm going to put it in the center at the top, and my Easy Press is heated up. And then the heat transfer mask is sticky, so it'll hold them in place while you press. And then we're just going to press for those 15 seconds. Medium pressure. And then we'll just peel off that transfer while it says warm. And so a few actually weren't stuck that were down in like one of the wrinkles, which I was trying to prevent. So I'm actually going to add a pressing pillow inside here to sort of even that surface out. And we'll just go ahead and press again here and just press down. So you're pressing your pillow about halfway down, and that should get the rest of those stones. And now everything is stuck beautifully, and I have an adorable Christmas stocking. All right, so if you were to put this on a shirt, let's say, you would want to turn it inside out to throw it in the laundry. Warm water, cool dry. So just to let you know how you would take care of these. I don't have to worry about it as much on a Christmas stocking, but if you were doing something else, that's how you would take care of them. So there is how you apply rhinestones to, in this case, a Christmas stocking. If you want to order your design from Heat Transfer Warehouse instead of making it with your Cricut machine, just head to their website and ordering instructions are right there. So you are going to order a custom design with instructions for uploading your design. So you send them the design and then they're going to send you a proof back so you can approve it, so you don't order anything until you actually get that proof back. There is a setup fee as well as a minimum purchase with custom designs, so you may want to take that into account before you order. The custom design came really quickly and it looks just like the design that I made, except the backing is on the heat transfer mask. So I'm just going to remove that backing, and the stone should just stay on the mask just like before. So just want to peel that back, and then I can apply to my stocking in exactly the same way. So the stones themselves are the same, it's just that they're actually doing the design for you. So I'm going to go ahead and add this. Because I needed to order a minimum amount of the actual design, I actually did something a little more generic, so I did Joy, and I'm just going to heat that once again in the same way. And I got the same quality results with the stones that I purchased from Heat Transfer Warehouse that were already in my design. Now, whether you're making Christmas stockings, shirts, hats, whatever you want to make, you know how to use heat transfer rhinestones with your Cricut machine. So we talked about using fonts and already designed files. It gets a bit more complicated if you want to take a file and change it into a rhinestone template. So there again, I would recommend getting more advanced with other YouTube channels like The Baby's Booty. I really think that you will love her YouTube channel, and I personally love her. So if you want to head there and learn more about rhinestones and more advanced techniques, I would definitely do that. So now, if you have any questions about anything we covered today, beginner rhinestones or ordering custom rhinestone templates from Heat Transfer Warehouse, feel free to ask those in the comment section below. If you liked this video, if it helped you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. We have videos just like this one every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.